Welcome to the conclusion of the 39th Prouty, our 2020 Virtual Prouty. And against all odds, we held a Prouty that raised money for research and patient supportive services at Norris Cancer Center and still kept people safe and socially distant. No mean feat. So the Prouty and the Friends are collaborative endeavors, and anything that we've accomplished has only been because of the work of dozens, if not thousands of people who are all striving for the same cause, making a difference in the fight against cancer. So I hope you'll join me in thanking a few of these groups of people. First, let's say thank you to the fantastic Friends Board of Directors, led so ably by Chair Judy Chitari. The board members assist in every event, in every way, all year long. So board members, can you just put a thumbs up on your screen, and can other people do that clap thing that's down there on reactions? Just say, thank you very much. We are honored to have your help. Board members are very cool. And I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you to the Friends staff. And if you would be so kind as to say hi when you're introduced, that'll mean you'll show up on the speaker's view. And first, I'd like to introduce Bruce Bouchard, who is the Prouty Operations Director. Say hi, Bruce.
He's on mute.
Bruce, you have to unmute and then say hi. Or not. Okay. Bruce Bouchard, you've been with me and you've been with the Prouty for 13 years, and you have been incredible. Your endeavors have made the Prouty what it is today. Incredibly. Christine Telge, say hi.
Hello, my dog won't leave me alone right now, so Apollo and Zeus say hello too.
Excellent, excellent. Christine's been with us for like 11 years, 10, 11 years. She handles the Ultimate and the Southern groups, and she's a key member of our staff. Sarah Markwell has been with us 3 years, right, Sarah? Would you say hi?
Hello.
She handles all the participation money and where people go on teams, and it's been wonderful to work with you, Sarah. Heidi Allen Goodrich, is this your third one, Heidi?
My third Prouty, my second year.
All right, there you go. You started just in front of the Prouty 3 years ago, 2 years ago. So Heidi does our graphics. She did a fantastic job turning around all the graphics for this year's Prouty Virtual. Thank you very much. Kelly Barton.
Hi.
Kelly Barton's been with us, a whole 6 months, maybe 7. And she came in, stepped right up to the plate, and has been creating the website and doing very many important things for us. We're so pleased to have you on the team, Kelly. Thank you so much. Now, outside of staff, the volunteers who help lead the Prouty by serving on the Prouty Executive Committee are a special breed of person. Trust me. This year, we've been meeting weekly instead of bi-weekly since we started working from home on March 16th. Talk about nuts. Please put your thumbs up sign on your screen when I say your name, and let's everyone join me in thanking Judy Chitari, Mary Allen, Doreen Cutter, Bruce Parsons. And I'd like to say a special thank you and goodbye to Carolyn Fry and Jim Bonney, who after 25 years and 15 years respectively are retiring from their leadership positions with the Prouty. These people, all of them, have given so much of themselves, and we have greedily taken everything that has been offered and sometimes asked for more. Every year, we choose honorary co-chairs who can inspire the community. This year was no different. Thank you, Hope Damon, survivor and dietitian extraordinaire, and Dr. Ken Meehan, director of our bone marrow transplant program and leader in the immunotherapy field, for inspiring all of us to do more in a year of COVID-19. Thank you, Hope and Ken. And of course, we'd really like to thank Phil Hanlon, president of Dartmouth College, Joanne Conroy, president and CEO of Dartmouth-Hitchcock Health, Dwayne Compton, dean of Geisel School of Medicine, for all your years of support of the Cancer Center and the Prouty. We would not be where we are without you. And thank you for being here tonight, too. But it is our illustrious leader, Steve Leach, the director of Norris Cotton Cancer Center, who inspires us every day to do everything in our power to help him and each and every researcher, provider, nurse, and staff in support of our patients and their families in their fight against cancer. Thank you, Steve. It is an honor to work with you, and it is too cool that you ride the Prouty Ultimate. Okay, now for the main course. When I spoke to Dorothy Byrne this year to tell her of our decision to take the Prouty virtual, she said, "Jean, do you think anyone will come?" Well, I can tell you she was mighty pleased when I told her that more than 2,600 people decided to join us, and together we've raised more than $2,805,000 for Norris Cotton Cancer Center. That's more than $42 million raised over the life of the Prouty for Norris Cotton Cancer Center. Let's go off mute and just give it a cheer, okay? Come on, let's make some noise.
Yay!
Nobody would believe that we did this, but we did it. And so many people make this possible. Thank you, Jack and Dorothy Byrne Foundation, and to our top sponsors, Conifer Health Systems, BioXcel, Hypertherm, Immunext, for your significant corporate support. In fact, I want to thank all of our corporate sponsors, especially those who gave money, because every single one of them came through with their donation this year. Your support is remarkable, and we are honored and grateful. Thank you. And I'd really like to call out Jane and Peter McLaughlin, who donate, match, advise, and motivate us. Your support is so special, and we are most grateful. And we've been doing this a lot of years, so thank you very much. Now, even though we eliminated minimums for everybody but the Ultimate Riders, people did an incredible job of raising money. Our top 3 fundraisers are, drum roll, Rich Weissman, who raised $78,354. And I just have to tell you, his virtual this year was, oh my God, I can't believe what he was doing. He was riding his bike, swimming and running, and he did like thousands of yards every week and thousands and hundreds of miles every week just to do his Prouty virtual. And he lives in Connecticut, used to live in New York, now he lives in Connecticut, it's amazing. Jane McLaughlin, $60,000 you raised, girl. Thank you very much. Peter Mertz, go Peter, $47,000 you've done. So that's really well done to us, thank you. The top fundraising team with the name on the Prouty Pride plaque, which we hope people can see again one day. Dartmouth Without Borders, Mary Chamberlain, $161,000. Top fundraising team. Team with the most members, they get their name on the Prouty participation plaque. And that's the Upper Valley Rowing Foundation Friends of Lebanon crew. You go, Karen Reynolds, 134 people. Team with the most new members, and they get a dinner at Ramunto's, is the Fry Family Team for the Mamas. 77 new to the Prouty team members. Thank you, Carolyn Fry and Krista and Milt and all the people on your team. Well done. The Dartmouth Prouty Cup, sponsored by Barb and Jay Rosenfield, goes to Team Hope. Surprise, surprise. The amazing team on One West, they raised $33,000, and they have more than half of their team members as employees of either Dartmouth-Hitchcock, Dartmouth College, or the Geisel School of Medicine. So thank you for all of that. Now, other team winners, the extra large size team, between 100 and 199 members, Friends of Lebanon crew with 134 members and $95,000. You win. For the large size team is Dartmouth Without Borders, 59 members at 161,000. Now, Team Haas, the medium-sized team with 36 people, You are the #1 team in the medium size. You are not the first loser. I just want you to know that. You're the winner, $146,000. And the smallest team is the Prouty Animals, which is the BioXL team. 3 people raised $77,000. So way to go, BioXL, Klaus and Tim, really well done. Now, one last note. You know this, it's my last Prouty. I'm retiring from Dartmouth College and from the Friends of Norris Cotton Cancer Center as its executive director as of July 31st. The interim executive director, I'm pleased to say, will be Bethany Solomon. While I know she has some great candidates coming, and I know that the choice is going to be made in the next couple of weeks, so you'll be in very good hands. And after the parade last night, I got to tell you, you have complete confidence in this team of people to do whatever event the Prouty becomes, because they're fabulous. Good news is that Bill and I are not moving away from Hanover. We'll be here for many years. The sad news is that I will no longer have the opportunity to work so closely with so many wonderful people in this significant cause. You have all changed my life for the better, and it's been an honor and a privilege to work with you. I look forward to a future filled with social engagements, maybe that are not so socially distant, with the people I've come to know and love. Thank you for an incredible ride. The end.
If all of you would unmute yourself and give another hoot and holler to Jean, I think it's most appropriate to do so. Thank you, Jean. So Jean has graciously allowed a small group of us to hijack her final Prouty Awards ceremony. And those of you who know Jean well know that that was not an easy decision for her to make, but as I said, she was incredibly gracious, and she ceded the rest of the show, if you will, to us. And it's with a great deal of excitement that I welcome you to this second half of the show. And boy, do we have some surprises in store for you. As you've already heard, my name is Judy Chiteri, and I'd like to add another thank you to the board of the Friends of Norris Cotton Cancer, and also to every single 2020 Virtual Prouty participant, donor, corporate sponsor, supporter, and cheerleader. The Prouty spirit is very much alive, even when we can't be together, and your support for this year's Virtual Prouty and this awards ceremony has been and is nothing short of spectacular. So thank you very much. I'm going to be the MC of this part of the awards ceremony, and we should have you all going on to your next events by about 7 o'clock, so hang tight. I think we can get through everything if we just hang together here for a minute. So let's Prouty on. We needed something really special, really special, to kick off this portion of the celebration. And Bruce Parsons and Mary Allen, who you've already met, have procured citations for Jean. These are not speeding tickets, Jean. This is something else. And these come from the highest level. So Bruce Parsons, I'm going to turn it over to you, and then to Mary. And Bill Brown, we're up to number 1 and number 2, please.
Thank you, Judy. Kelly, can you put Jean on screen instead of me? And say no if you can't.
I don't think I can.
Bill?
You know what? Wait, I can talk, and you can pin me to the screen. I believe you can do that.
Okay.
I can.
Can I? Did I lie, Kelly?
That does work.
A host can spotlight anybody.
Right.
I'm finding you, Jean, on my little screen and spotlighting you. There you go.
Okay. Bill, do you have something to present to Jean on our behalf?
Oh, God.
This is the first of 2 citations, Jean. As you're opening it, Mary and I went off to do these and came up with some little tidbits of history for those of you who don't know. The Prouty raised $270,000 in Jean's first year.
No. Never mind.
The year before Jean started. Thank you. Jean does not take credit for that. As you all know, last year the Prouty raised $3.5 million. What Jean has opened is a citation from the state of New Hampshire by His Excellency Christopher T. Sununu, Governor. Be it hereby known that I, Christopher T. Sununu, Governor of the state of New Hampshire, join with my fellow citizens, I'm going to lose it here, in extending my personal best wishes and sincere congratulations to Jean E. Brown in recognition of her retirement after 17 years as the Executive Director of the Friends of Norris Cotton Cancer Center. Her efforts as the Executive Director have helped ensure the continued growth and success of fundraisers such as the Prouty, which benefit cancer research and family supportive patient services at Dartmouth-Hitchcock's Norris Cotton Cancer Center. Jean is highly respected within the Dartmouth-Hitchcock health system and throughout the Upper Valley community, and her dedication is sincerely appreciated. On behalf of the citizens of New Hampshire, I commend Jean for her hard work and wish her all the best. July 3rd, 2020, signed by Chris Sununu.
Amazing. Thank you.
Mary?
Okay, Jean. Well, all I can say is there are a lot of compliments in common, which doesn't surprise me one bit. I have the distinct honor and the great pleasure of, there you go. Number two, unwrap it. Of reading to you a proclamation from the town of Hanover honoring the many contributions of Jean E. Brown.
No wonder it's going to take 40 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so with no further ado, whereas the Norris Cotton Cancer Center, the town of Hanover, and the Upper Valley have enjoyed and benefited from the many contributions made by Jean Brown over 17 years as Executive Director of the Friends of the Norris Cotton Cancer Center, and whereas Jean Brown has led the growth of the Prouty over her 17 years so that it is now the largest nonprofit fundraiser north of Boston and east of Buffalo, New York, involving more than 4,000 participants and 1,000 volunteers who venture to the Upper Valley for a 2-day bicycling, rowing, walking, and golfing extravaganza, enjoying camaraderie, food, fellowship, and who celebrate and honor so many who have battled cancer during their lifetimes. And whereas in 2019, the Prouty raised $3.5 million, a very long way from the $270,000 the year before Jean started, at her first year at the helm of the Friends in 2003. And whereas under Jean's leadership over 17 years, the Prouty has raised, drumroll, $37,864,777, and it's more because this is a week or two prior, for cancer research and patient and family supportive services at Dartmouth-Hitchcock's Norris Cotton Cancer Center. And whereas Jean Brown is a woman of many talents beyond her masterful leadership of the Friends of Norris Cotton Cancer Center, including an accomplished, acclaimed jazz singer and former Broadway actress, and a stellar corporate leader committed to public service. And whereas Jean Brown is a highly respected colleague within the Dartmouth-Hitchcock health system and throughout the Upper Valley, whose wonderfully kind and thoughtful demeanor has always lit up a room upon her entry. Oh, and whereas Jean Brown has now earned the right to sit back, relax, and smell the roses after a wonderfully long and immensely valuable career focused on helping so many of her fellow citizens. Now, therefore, the Hanover Select Board does hereby thank Jean Brown for her dedication to the community we all love, to the work of the Norris Cotton Cancer Center, which cares for so many and which leads cancer research and treatment, and for the gift of her leadership, creativity, energy, and commitment. Here is to a job superbly done, Jean. Signed, The Town of Hanover Select Board, Peter Christie, Chairman, Athos Rossius, Vice Chairman, William Garrity, Nancy Carter, and Joanna Whitcomb, Secretary.
Unbelievable.
Here, here, Jean.
Thank
You're
you.
a true town treasure.
I love it. I'm going to use that, I'm sure.
Thank you, Bruce and Mary, for procuring these. Okay, Bill, you're on hold for just a little bit. Just for a little bit. So the Prouty Awards ceremony, as you've already heard from Jean, but Jean and I did not talk about what we were going to say because this was supposed to be a surprise to her. So the Prouty Awards ceremony would not be complete, and I'm serious about this, without our recognition of the institutions who support and encourage the work of the Friends, namely Dartmouth College, Geisel School of Medicine, and Dartmouth-Hitchcock Health. Dartmouth College President Phil Hanlon and his wife Gail have been involved, all-in supporters of the Prouty since their arrival in Hanover in 2013. They have walked and ridden the Prouty, and they have done the Virtual Prouty. And if you've scanned the attendees at tonight's award ceremony, you know that Phil is not with us. He is on a much-deserved vacation, but he did not want this occasion to pass by without joining us. So he taped his presentation for us before he left on vacation, and Kelly is going to run that video for us now. So I think you're going to have to go off screen for just a little bit, Jean. But Kelly, can you do the video?
On behalf of all of us at Dartmouth, congratulations to all of you who planned and participated in this year's Prouty. In a year when everything has been upended, what an accomplishment to have made the Virtual Prouty not only a reality, but a smashing success. I'm so grateful for all of your contributions, but especially for remembering that even as we battle the novel coronavirus, the needs of cancer patients continue unabated. As I say thank you for all you've done to help the Cancer Center engage in cutting-edge research and provide truly outstanding care to all of its patients, I need to extend an extra special thank you to one person in particular this year, and that's Jean Brown. Jean, for the last 17 years, the Friends of the Norris Cotton Cancer Center has thrived under your leadership. You have been the face and the heart and the soul of the Prouty. Anyone who's been fortunate enough to work with you will carry your spirit and energy with them as they strive to push the Prouty to new heights year after year. Thank you for caring so deeply for the work being done at the Cancer Center and for all you've done for our community. You will be missed, but never forgotten. Best of luck in your retirement, Jean, and congratulations to all of you once more for making the Virtual Prouty a point of pride for us all.
So a thank you to Phil in absentia. I just think it's so appropriate that at least one of our dignitary presentations was done in virtually. The year of the virtual brought to new heights. So as you all know, the Prouty raises funds to support cancer research, and professors and students of the Geisel School of Medicine are intimately involved in the research that has propelled Norris Cotton Cancer Center into the highest ranks of cancer center and helped it earn its designation as a National Cancer Institution, Comprehensive Cancer Center. Say that one fast 5 times. It's really, really hard. Dwayne Compton, the Dean of Geisel School of Medicine and Professor of Biochemistry and Cell Biology there, will now share some of his thoughts about the Prouty and Jean Brown with us.
Thanks so much, Judy. And thanks, Jean, for all of your hard work over these many years. I am really here on behalf of all of the scientists and the investigators that have benefited from receiving awards from the Prouty over so many years. And in full disclosure, I am one of those investigators. Many years ago, I got a Prouty grant. It actually helped launch my career. So I owe you a personal debt of gratitude, but I also owe you a debt of gratitude for all of the scientists who are receiving funds. The way in which the funds come is absolutely critical when they're trying to get started, and in challenging financial times. It's just an immense resource that we can draw upon to help them launch their careers. So you should, in some way, you're not, may not be participating in the science part, but you are supporting the science that's going on and supporting the careers and launching careers of many scientists over the years. So just incredible gratitude for you and all of your work that you've done over the years. I would also say that organizations oftentimes reflect the leadership of them, and you have always brought such a positive, upbeat optimism to your leadership, to the Prouty, and that just infuses the entire organization. And that, I think, is one of the keys to its success, actually. I've never seen you without a smile on your face and without actually thinking, what's the next big thing we're going to do? So I really appreciate your really profound optimism, your profound strength, your sense of dedication to something that is bigger than yourself in our organization. And I look forward to your continued participation, but in a new and different role. But I really look forward to continuing working with you, and I just really appreciate everything that you've done over these many years. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Thanks, Dwayne. Really appreciate your bringing that perspective to this program. Norris Cotton Cancer Center patients are treated at Dartmouth-Hitchcock Health's flagship clinic and hospital in Lebanon, New Hampshire, and at no fewer than 7 affiliated and community hospitals throughout Vermont and New Hampshire. It is a pleasure and truly an honor to welcome Joanne Conroy, the Chief Executive Officer and President of Dartmouth-Hitchcock Health, to share with us some of her thoughts on the significance of the Prouty and Jean's leadership these past 17 years. Welcome, Joanne.
So, Jean, you know, I bet when the dust settled from the Prouty last year, you didn't think that you would be in the last 4 months turning Prouty 2020 on its head and pulling off a virtual Prouty. But you know what? You're a little bit unsinkable. And we knew with you at the helm, it would be no problem to reimagine the Prouty in spite of the pandemic. You know, I'm a relative newcomer, and I think it doesn't take you very much time to appreciate the extraordinary work that you've done over the last 17 years. And I think there are a number of reasons why we want to thank you. Number one, you've created an incredible legacy that helps people appreciate and recognize the nationally recognized cancer center we have here, right in the heart of Northern New England. So the best cancer treatments are available to all of our patients. I want to thank you for getting the community to step up to provide funding and over 27,000 episodes of care free of charge to patients and their supporters through the Family and Patient Support Services Program. I want to thank you for building on Audrey Prouty's dream. And you may know that Sue Reeves, our Chief Nursing Executive, actually took care of Audrey Prouty when she was at the old hospital. And there are many people that just love the ongoing stewarding of the event, which not only is a point of community pride, but has raised close to $40 million since its inception. I want to thank you for living, breathing, and sleeping the Prouty for all of this years. Your vision has helped define an Upper Valley tradition that will live on. And in future years, we will see bikers, walkers, golfers, and rowers cross the finish line. And after they catch their breath, of course, they will celebrate. To paraphrase Bette Midler, you have, of course, been the wind beneath the wings of the Prouty. Thank you so much, Jean.
Oh,
Thank you, Joanne.
that's a hard one. One of my all-time favorite songs, Joanne. Thank you very, very much. Before we launch into the next portion of our presentation, which is a series of tributes, not as if these haven't been tributes, but a series of tributes to Jean, I'd like to thank the Prouty community for an incredible tribute to Jean, and that is the Jean's Legacy Fund. On April 1st, Steve and I sent out an email to the Prouty community announcing Jean's retirement. One person wrote back and said, "Is that an April Fool's joke?" And we said, no, it wasn't. And we launched the Jean's Legacy Fund. Jim Bonney and I then reached out to all of the former chairs of the boards of the Friends of Norris Cotton Cancer Center who had served under Jean's leadership, and people came together. And it was my dream, and actually Steve's dream, from the very beginning, that the Jean's Legacy Fund would top our leadership fundraising board by the end of the day. And yes, Rich Weissman deserves accolades for his fundraising, but I am here to tell you that the Jean's Legacy Fund raised $118,914. All of these funds will go, of course, to the 2020 Prouty, and they will all be used for patient and family supportive services at Norris Cotton Cancer Center and for cancer research. Jean, people were thrilled to reach out in this very special way, and I'm thrilled to be able to tell you the final amount. I know you probably took a sneak peek every once in a while, but it's official now. And I think, I hope you will see it as a true statement of people's love and support of what you've done these past 17 years.
Thank you, Judy. I do.
Oh my goodness. So back in January, when Jean shared with me her intention to retire as executive director of the Friends, she indicated that the one thing, just one thing, that she wanted more than anything else was to have all her former staff members and her current staff members next to her at the final award ceremony. Well, thanks to COVID-19, I couldn't deliver on getting everyone on stage, Jean, and I do truly apologize for that. But last night at the car parade, you were surrounded, closely surrounded by your current staff who would do anything for you. And they have really gone the extra mile this past several months. And I reached out to all of the former staff, and I am happy to say that I've heard from several of your former staff members. It's not quite the same when you're doing it by writing. You know, only some people will bite that hook. And it's a privilege to share with you and the rest of the Prouty community some of their stories about you and your leadership. And I'd like to offer a special thank you to Barb Masteller, Michelle Shembry, Susan Wheelahan, and Catherine Rentz for sharing their contributions and stories. I'm going to switch to my tribute, which should be here someplace. There it is, and I'm going to read it to you. So I'm going to start at the beginning. 2003 to 2004, your first year as executive director of the Friends of Norris Cotton Cancer Center. As your trusty assistant of that first year put it, neither of you knew what the Prouty was when you were hired by the Cancer Center. You figured it out as you went along. First, you found a binder in the back storage room with some notes about the Prouty, but that didn't give you much to go on, so the two of you started making phone calls, reaching out to people meeting with them and asking them tons of questions. And that's still what you do today. You reach out, you ask questions, you draw people into the story you are creating. Back in 2003, the Prouty raised $180,000, and look where we are now. And those figures may be slightly wrong, but you get the point. We all know your approach to life is nothing short of enthusiastic, and you are known to burst into song on any given day and throughout the day. Having heard you sing, what a treat it must have been for your staff to hear your joie de vivre bursting out during the many days you have dedicated to bringing life to this most wonderful event you could ever be part of. Some of you may know that Jean always has a bowl of chocolates on her desk. She's a wicked good baker, and her chocolate brownies are just too decadent for words. But as another one of Jean's assistants tell us, Jean has a bit of a passion for junk food too. The Prouty team usually expands during the late spring and summer months with the addition of a group of dynamic, creative, and tireless young people, the interns. These young people will do a lot for food. Well, really snacks and junk food. And give them fresh fruit, veggies, and hummus, not so much. But give them bags of candy, chocolates, cheese puffs. You got it, instant happiness. Jean, being the consummate leader, needed to check in on the interns from time to time, making sure they were feeling all right, doing their job, settling into the rhythm that is the normal Prouty in May, June, and July. What an odd coincidence. Every time Jean came into the room to check, she also just happened to have an urge to taste a few of those cheese puffs on the table. What a good boss. Seriously, Jean shepherded the interns faithfully as she has shepherded all of us, ever the leader and looking out for her staff and for us too. There are two traits, two pillars that describe Jean and that we have all seen at play these past 17 years. The first one, Jean is passionate, but she's passionate especially about making the world a better place. And the connection between Jean's passion for the Prouty and her abiding interest in politics, she ran for Congress in Florida right before her move to the Upper Valley, was not lost on her staff. Jean wants to make a difference, whether it's fighting cancer or serving the underserved. It's part of her DNA. The second pillar is that Jean is also compassionate, and she seeks to build bridges among the most unlikely of partners and participants. As one assistant explained, with an event involving 5,000 people, that's participants, corporate sponsors, volunteers, you name it, all of whom make it the stellar event that it is, there can be some challenging characters in the mix. Whenever I went to Jean to discuss how to handle a difficult situation, this assistant says, Jean always led from a place of compassion and provided wise advice on how to deal with the most sensitive of personalities. And one final assistant's comments. Jean took on the difficult task of shifting the community's vision of the Prouty from a small, organized party to a large and important fundraiser. By 2007, it was clear that the Prouty had outgrown its home on the campus of the then Dartmouth Medical School. Jean found a home. She sold the idea to the stakeholders, and off the event moved to the Richmond Middle School. As any event planner knows, even small changes can throw you for a loop, and especially when you are on the home stretch. And sure enough, that first year at RMS, there we were, and in comes Jean to my office. What? They installed a backstop on the field 2 weeks before the event and didn't even think to mention it? That single event gave rise to one of the earliest icons of the RMS Prouty, the blue banner on the backstop encouraging one and all to engage, to get involved. Let's Prouty indeed. This last assistant, concluded her comments with the following. When I think of Jean, several words come to mind. Enthusiastic. Now, we've been hearing a lot about that. Energetic, fearless, and committed. It is these innate qualities that Jean brought with her to FNCCC 17 years ago, and it is why she has played a pivotal role in making the Prouty and the Friends the success they are today. She has tirelessly brought people together, staff, researchers, patients, participants, volunteers, and survivors, in pursuit of something bigger than themselves. This is truly Jean's legacy. So, silently, would all of you please join me in raising a tribute, a clap to Jean. Thank you. And now I'm going to, sorry. I need to stick to my script. If I go off script, I'm gonna get totally screwed up and start crying. So now it is a special privilege for me to turn these proceedings over to a true friend and supporter of the Prouty and director of Dartmouth's own Norris Cotton Cancer Center, Dr. Stephen Leach, who has his own thoughts on Jean's retirement and legacy. So Steve, take it away, please.
Thank you so much, Judy. And thanks everyone for being here to honor Jean. It's a real honor for me to be able to thank Jean and say a few words of gratitude about how she helped recruit me to Dartmouth and helped me understand the true meaning and the true gift that we have in the Prouty. But first, let me thank all of you for your ongoing amazing support of this year's Prouty. It certainly wasn't how we imagined Jean's final Prouty as executive director would go, but in this most unusual year and with our community confronting so many stresses and uncertainties, this year's event, I think, uniquely reinforced the strength of the Prouty and the strength of our Upper Valley community, proving that together we will fight cancer even when we're apart. And from the small group of riders from Dartmouth Without Borders and Team Haas that Kathy and I rode 100 miles with yesterday, to Karen Reynolds' crew of cancer survivors rowing in recovery, to the hundreds of small groups and families from across the country, you could really see how this year's event not only raised an amazing amount for our beloved Cancer Center, but also contributed much to our community's post-COVID sense of hope, of recovery, and of renewal. So thanks to everyone here for their role in that. And for this and so much more, we have Jean to thanks. As the Prouty's public face, the Prouty's CEO, the Prouty's cajoler and salesperson in chief, she has led us in elevating the Prouty to one of the country's leading cancer fundraising events, the biggest charity challenge north of Boston, while also elevating our community's sense of shared mission and our responsibility to take good care of one another. And on a personal note, I first met Jean when I was considering making the move up from New York City to Hanover. And during my interviews for the job as Cancer Center Director, I had multiple days of meetings with Dartmouth and Dartmouth-Hitchcock leadership, faculty, and staff. And while I certainly enjoyed my conversations with Dwayne and Joanne, there was one person who stood out for her passion, for her enthusiasm, and for helping me understand just how devoted our community was to supporting our cancer center. And you guessed it, that was Jean. And when I decided 2 weeks before the 2017 Prouty to take the job, but only starting a few months later in September, one of the first people to contact me was Jean, who said, "You've got to come up and ride the Prouty." And she didn't give me a way to say no. She signed me up. She donated money to my ride. She arranged for a bike that I could use. And she told me she would be introducing me up on stage. And all of that was kind enough for her to do. But what I will never forget, Jean, is the way you literally took me by the hand and introduced me that first Prouty to as many people as you could. And this didn't stop at the Prouty. After I arrived and started as director, you continued to tirelessly introduce me to our Upper Valley community and all the incredible people and small businesses that call it home. And you've kept doing it ever since. My personal introduction to this community I now love, and I will forever be grateful. In fact, it was Jean who introduced me to almost everyone, on this call. And Jean taught me in so doing that the Prouty is a good, in and of itself, even beyond the wonderful support it raises for our cancer center. It's a good in and of itself in the way it builds and renews our community. And I will never forget that lesson, Jean, and I will always be grateful. So Jean's legacy is breathtaking, raising the question, how can one person have such a positive impact on their community? And it's a tough question, but as a cancer researcher, I'm used to dealing with tough questions. And my approach to answering tough questions is to propose a hypothesis. And so I'll give it a try. My hypothesis is that Jean has achieved all that she has achieved and done all the good that she has done through love. Love for our friends, family members, and loved ones who we've lost to cancer. Love for our current patients. Love for the amazing work done by our doctors and nurses. Love for her coworkers and staff. Love for Bill, who deserves a special shout out here as the unseen hero for loaning us Jean for all of these 17 years. And most of all, love for the Prouty and our Upper Valley community. So thank you, Jean, for all that you have so selflessly donated to the Prouty. And I hope you felt that love reflected right back at you during last night's amazing car parade. And I hope you feel it tonight and that you'll feel it always. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And thank you again to everyone on tonight's call for making this year's most unusual Prouty also unusually successful and unusually meaningful. And so, with love in our hearts, it's only appropriate that we now transition. Judy?
Bill Brown, it's time for number 3.
Okay. So as an appropriate symbol of love and with love in our hearts, it's only appropriate that we now transition to the awarding of this year's Heart of the Prouty Award, which I have the honor of bestowing on behalf of the PEC. The Heart of the Prouty is awarded only in certain years when an individual is deemed to have demonstrated extraordinary commitment to this event. The Heart of the Prouty is the single highest honor conferred by the Prouty Steering Committee, and a sterling list of past participants includes Patty Carney, one of the 4 nurses who convened the original Prouty, Dave Bradley, Carolyn and Milt Fry, Jim Bonney, and Judy Chittari. So it's no surprise who just might be the recipient of this year's Heart of the Prouty Award. But the surprise is that for the very first and perhaps the only time, the PEC this year decided to rename this year's heart-shaped award not as the Heart of the Prouty, but as the true Heart of the Prouty, given with love to our dear Jean Brown. Congratulations, Jean.
Thank you. That's really lovely. That's marvelous.
We have, it's really hard to follow it up and to see you so moved, Jean. I'm glad we hit the target with that one. The final tribute in this program is a highly personal one, and it was to have been presented by Bruce Bouchard, but Bruce must be having technical difficulties because he's nowhere to be found. And in private chats, Sarah, Heidi, Kelly, and I have been figuring out how to do this. Bill Brown, we're ready for number 4. And I don't know which one of you wants to take it over. Oh, Nora! Oh my gosh. So I don't know which one of the 3 of you, maybe all 3 of you are going to do this. So this is from the PEC to you, Jean. And it's this year's PEC that's giving this. So which one of you is going to do the text?
I can say a little something.
Yes.
So Jean will recognize this because it was the beginning of the t-shirt design for 2020. And it has since been modified as a little reminder to Jean of the Prouty, of all the pieces that make up the Prouty, and pieces that Jean brings to the Prouty. And in the center there, you'll see the little heart and the JEB, the true heart of the Prouty.
Oh, God. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
One last time, if you would all unmute yourselves, and would you give a round of applause to this incredible woman who deserves our hearts.
Hooray.
Jean. Well done. Jean, we built in a little bit of time. If you want to say anything, if you're to overcome, we don't want to push it. We are all pretty overcome, but we didn't want to close everything without giving you a chance. I have a few words after you say whatever you want to say, just to let people know that it's not all ending tonight. So,
well, of course I want to say something because you touched my heart in so many ways. It has been such a joy. And of course, I am nothing without you. It doesn't exist without you. And sometimes you let me come and get you, and sometimes you brought me and I responded. But together, it's an extraordinary experience. This is so, these things are so meaningful to me. I can't thank you enough. Your love and your appreciation is so felt. I get it. I just get it. I said to somebody, I said, it was getting pretty lonely. Before the parade, it was like, okay, well, we're just gonna like ride this one out, and that's life, you know, everybody's life has changed. But I can't tell you what it felt like starting yesterday to be with the 15, 18 riders, all socially distant, but to be with that energy. And then at the SAG, at the McLaughlins, and then last night, that parade, it was a fantastic way to end this quite unusual year. I'm honored. I can't thank you enough, up and down, everywhere. So thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Jean. Jean already extended a thanks to her staff and to the PEC, but I'd just like to say one last thanks to this group that with the onset of COVID-19 dug in deeper than I've ever seen any group dig in. And this event tonight wouldn't have taken place. Last night's car parade wouldn't have taken place without these hardworking people. And I'm just going to name their names again real quickly so you know. From Jean's staff, Bruce Bouchard, Christine Telge, Sarah Markwell, Heidi Allen Goodrich, and Kelly Barton, and the volunteer members of the Prouty Executive Committee, Mary Allen, Jim Bonney, Doreen Cutter, Carolyn Fry, and Bruce Parsons. Your creativity, your loyalty, your support, and your dedication have just been superb. And I know Jean joins me because she's already said thank you, but thank you so much. There are so many people who exemplify the Prouty spirit, and all of you have made a tremendous difference in fighting cancer, even when we're apart this year. And so I am deeply grateful to all of you. Today's ceremony wasn't really the right time for our final goodbye to Jean. It really was a time for thanks and tributes and the things that we put together for Jean. So please stay tuned for details on one final Toast and Roast of Jean to be held on July 31st. This is not a surprise to Jean. She already knows about it. And we hope to gather one last time for people who want to offer individual tributes to Jean, individual thanks with a Zoom meetup. So that will be, stay tuned for those details. And in the meantime, mark your calendar. We have our fingers crossed that we'll have a Prouty, a number 40 Prouty on July 9th and 10th of 2021. And in the meantime, take good care. Be well and be safe, and thank you for coming tonight. And one last round of applause for our amazing leader.
I'm gonna go have a drink.
They've been waiting for.
Yeah, some chocolate. My husband wouldn't let me have it while I was working.
Well, I hope he'll bring you one now.
Yeah.